So I kind of started building the cabinets before starting the video, but I kind of go over what I'm doing now. So I'm already got the refrigerator in place. This is where the sink is going to go. I got to put some edges over, some top pieces on this. And this is the edge where, of course, the closet's going to start. I measured out how far I want it out. Based on the old original design and how high I wanted it was based on this refrigerator. So I just wanted it to be right on top of the refrigerator. So the issue is that the countertop that I got, which is a really good deal and a beautiful, beautiful countertop, it's going to be a little short. So let me show you what I'm going to do. So the shop is pretty crowded right now. This is the countertop that I'm going to use. My problem is it's only 24 inches. That space is like 29 inches. So what I'm doing is I've got some oak that I've sistered up and glued, and I got a couple more pieces that I need to do. And then I am going to attach this to the end of the countertop so that I will be just a little bit more than what I need. And then I'll piece them together, trim them. So I'll have this nice oak. I think I might go around the edge also. So it will go around the edge and around the back, both edges. So I'll have to see. All right, so here's gonna be my countertop. Because the countertop is exactly 61 inches wide or long, but its depth is 39 inches. So what I've got to do is, because this only comes to about 24 inches, this countertop, I'm going to add this piece of oak that I've put two of them together. I got to do my joiner and clean up this edge and this edge. You can see it's kind of got a little lip there. I got a joiner, and I'm gonna do that edge. Then I'm gonna join this. This is the actual going to be the back of the countertop. This is the Airstream back wall. The kitchen wall is going to be right here. It's actually upside down because any marking I want to do, I'm doing the bottom. And then I have to do some biscuits. Cut some biscuits. I marked all of them where I'm going to do the biscuits, and then glue it together, clamp it. I also got to make sure that I put it down because it's a little wobbly. Then I'm going to take some wood putty and fill this, because this is just a little rounded. I thought of maybe taking my saw and trim. I might do that. I might take my saw and just trim this flat so I don't have the rounded edge, and maybe I can get a nice clean seam on this. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, got a pimple product. This is made by Craig, and I'm really starting to like their products. So this is a sled, and you put, let's see, an attachment on your saw, and that way you just line up the sled, put it on these grooves, and go. And it did a nice cut right along this edge. The sled doesn't go all the way, so I'm off by just a tiny bit, but I can sand that down. But now I should, if I put this away, slide this over. Now I should have a nice clean edge. I'll have to clamp it, but I should have a nice clean edge. I'm gonna have to remark my spots for my biscuits. Actually, you can still see them all, except that one. That one's missing. So is that one. So is that one. The rest of these are still there to line up. That looks good. So, I don't understand why this is looking off. But we'll still be able to climb. I still got to sand it where that I was off a little bit, but that should be good. I have a joiner. I'm gonna join these edges. I might just join that edge too, so that I got a nice clean edge. Then I'll have a nice transition. So this will be the back edge. It'll look a little different, but I'll stain it dark. I thought about doing it along the edge here to give it some kind of design. That edge and that edge, but maybe not. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, so I got this piece of wood all measured out. I used my joiner to get a nice clean edge on it. I've got the edge of the countertop nice and clean. But now I got to join them together. And how I'm going to do that is with this. It's a biscuit cutter. And you line up your wood on both sides. I've got this flipped over, so I've got a mark here and I have a mark here. And what this will do, it will cut a slot underneath each mark right at the same height. And then you have these wood biscuits. And then when you do the other side, and then you line the two up, you clamp it, glue it, put the biscuits in, glue them, glue the whole thing and clamp it. It should give me a nice, level, seamless connection between the two. All right, so I got my biscuits cut. I got them glued in one side. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this side here, really lather up the glue and fill all the holes, and then clamp it together. All right, all clamped up. It was really hard to clamp because this edge is rounded, but it's clamped, and I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna have to probably fill this edge. I'm gonna have to sand this edge because it sticks up a little bit. And then you can see that's off a little and the other side's off a little. Then I have to stain a little. Maybe fill that with some wood putty, that crack. All right, so we're all glued together, but I have a little issue with a gap, and I sanded it down nice and smooth. I'm gonna use the sandpaper in my little sander over there, with a sawdust, mix it with some wood glue. Before I stain this, I'm gonna fill this crack with it. And I think I have just a little crack right there. And that's it. Then I'll be ready to stain it back up and see how it looks. All right, I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna fix this crack. This is nice and smooth now. I've got it all sanded down. It's ready for stain, but I got this crack here. So if I get this off here. The dust catcher from my sander that I used to sand this, you get some nice
really soft sawdust, really fine. And you take yourself some wood glue. Put yourself some wood glue. Good amount, because there's a crack on the other side. Take yourself a plastic butter knife. Get some of that sawdust mixed with this glue. You want it really mixed good. You're basically making, what do you call it, wood putty, but you're using the wood glue, and it's going to match the wood that we're using, and it's stainable. So we're going to go ahead, and then I got some toothpicks. So now that I got a nice mix, take some of this, and I'm going to start pushing it into this hole. I could use the knife, kind of get it in there good. You could use a putty knife, but you just want to make sure you get it wedged into the crack really good. And then I take this and I just go over it one time to make sure I get it down in there. And then do another layer. Take yourself a nice rag, wipe off any excess. When I get all this before it dries, then you'll have this little film on there. Let it dry completely, and then go over it with some maybe 240 sandpaper. Give it a nice smooth. What I got on here right now? 320. Use some 320 to give it a nice smooth. I'm gonna do this to the other side, and we should be good. There we go. So I'm just going to let that dry completely. And I'll sand it down. And we'll be ready to stain. All right, so I've got the basic frame for the counter done. And I got my countertop on top with my fridge in there. I still got to do a little, framing around everything, because I need to leave those straps open in case something happens. I need to replace the refrigerator. But the sink is going to go right here, and then the cooktop is going to go here. I'm going to have to cut that here and here for the cooktop to slide in. Got to build a shelf down there too. Still got a little bit of ways to go, but that came out pretty good, where I had to add that extra piece of wood in the back. Not too shabby. It's not in place right now. It's just kind of sitting in there, but at least it's out of the shop and I ain't got to worry about it. So now I got to go to work on the bottom of this part. So we got a little issue.
So I did the countertop. I cut out the section for the sink and found out I don't have enough room for the cooktop. I'm off by 3 inches. So when I got the countertop, it was too long. I cut off that end section right there. I need 3 inches. So I'm making a 3-inch piece, added this piece of oak to the end, and then I'm going to clean it all up and then reattach it back to the end. You won't be able to really see much of it because I'm going to be trimming off probably about right here, about 1 inch to 1.5 inches to 2 inches off of this edge where the cooktop is going to go in. But I mismeasured. You know, they say measure twice, cut once. I measured 2 or 3 times, and somehow I still didn't come out right. But you know, it happens. So here's my clamp job. It's kind of crazy. I didn't have any clamps long enough, but you can hook the clamps together, use them to work with each other. But here's the 3 inches I added. The grain's not matching too good here, but I'm gonna have to sand down this edge and then fill it with some sawdust, and then, you know, see if we can get a pretty clean look to that seam. When I put the cooktop in, I'm going to be cutting probably about right here. So I'll be cutting most of this out to about here and then over to fit the cooktop in. So you won't see it here, it'll be back here, but we'll just have to see how it looks. All right, so I got the whole countertop sanded down, got this edge added. Now I got to cut out the section for the cooktop. It actually comes right to this line here, and then I have to trim a little off right here to about right here to cut that section out for the cooktop. Then I'll stain it and urethane it. All right, we got our countertop now cut out for the cooktop. Got these edges joined pretty good. Stain, I just need to urethane it and be ready to put in. And well, we have our cooktop. So I still have to wire 12 volts to the cooktop, and I got to plumb the sink. I still got to drill the hole for the faucet. But I think it looks pretty good. Then I can finish in the walls and finish in the cabinet, put a door under the sink, and put another door under the cooktop. I'm going to put a shelf that the cooktop's going to sit on. But it doesn't look too bad. All right, I went ahead and added my microwave, framed it in. Back in the back there is a inverter where in case you lose power, you'll be able to do the battery. So countertop is done. I now have to, I went ahead and put that wall in too. I need to finish up the plumbing and the gas before I can close all this up. Got any questions, hit me up. And criticism I'm okay with too. And subscribe. I'll talk to y'all later.